if I may have the microphone, if we can keep Mrs. Busby quiet over here to the right, it's the program is Viewpoint. Personalities, politicians, and perspectives. And happily, once again, we lead the politicians out. We get a couple of great personalities and an interesting perspective on how we take care of our furry friends. Sue and Dennis, we always try to start the program with a kudo or two. And this morning, I find out about a young man from Mount Pulaski who's attained his Eagle Scout rank.
Yes.
Young man's name is Jason Cooper. Jansen, I beg your pardon, son. Jansen Cooper from Mount Pulaski. Having not attained the Eagle rank, but having been active in scouting when the Moses was just around the premises, I can tell you that the work on they put in to be attain the rank of Eagle Scout is considerable.
I know it.
So let's take our collective hats off to young Jansen Cooper for our kudo this morning.
Amen.
Did you have anything pertinent to add this morning, or after we welcome you back?
I tell you what,
it's kind of fleshed out now that we have her back.
I'll kudo you, because you know what he did? He called we were driving home in the car and wanted to know when we'd be getting there, because he wanted to turn the air conditioner on in the house so that Murphy, I think he was thinking more of Murphy than me, if you want to know the truth. But anyway, so that we wouldn't be too hot, because you know it's nasty to come into the house when you've been gone for a week. It's just... It's in the summer, and we'll never be a tourist mecca till we do something about our weather, ever. It isn't going to happen.
Well, we're glad to get you back aboard, put some strength in the program here this morning.
Okay.
Why don't you listen? These folks are here to tell us about something really good going on in the county. Why don't you introduce these folks formally?
I'd be proud to do that. Sue Jones and Dennis Schrader are both actively involved in the HSLC, the Humane Society of Logan County. And 'tis a noble thing you do. You know, I think it's the ASPCA that has these awful ads on television that I can't watch.
Oh, my.
You know, I mean, they just make you... Well, they run the whole gamut of your emotions.
For sure.
And you finally end up with fury. If you have a child, you raise it. Because you got it. You don't have to have the pet. You don't have to keep the pet. If you don't want the pet, don't have the pet. But gee whiz, don't be mean.
Right. And you see those sad eyes.
Oh gosh, it just kills me. It just kills me.
I have to look the other way or turn it off.
Yeah, I do too. I cannot look at that. I just don't understand how people can be disrespectful not only of one another, but of the rest of God's creatures as well. He and I both have, we'll call them rescue dogs, because he rescued his literally off the streets, and mine, a girl at work bought and didn't want, and she wanted me to take him when he was a puppy. I said, I'm not up for a puppy. I'm old. I don't need a puppy. So when he was 6 months old, we got him, and he's still there. He'll be there for a long time.
Yeah, you take good care of my dog, will you, too?
Yes. And he's a good dog. And I bet you both have rescue animals, too.
I don't currently. But
you're between?
Days, mine died several years ago, and it's still hard on my wife to think of adopting right now.
Is that right?
It's just, it was so traumatic for us, because that was just our baby after the kids left.
Sure.
And she's really having a hard time, and we have grandchildren that live away that we're trying to help with, and
sure.
So it's just another thing right now that it's just not convenient. You know,
that's what I used to.
Because we love bigger dogs, and to take a bigger dog to a different location with you is tough.
I'm now in chapter 13 of helping grandchildren. I'm writing a book about it.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, they've almost put me in chapter 13.
Well, you know, we're older now, and our kids got started.
I noted that.
So right. So our kids got started late. So you know, it takes a little more energy at our age to help than it did if we'd been in our 40s. So.
Well, Woody and Sue have had dogs all as long as I've known them, which has been almost forever.
Singular or multiple?
Well, they've had multiples, sure.
But now we're just single, because we lost our A dog in January, and then we had a little rescue Shih Tzu that just died 3 weeks ago. But we did rescue Sadie from the shelter. We adopted her from the shelter in February. She's a very large black lab.
Now, at the shelter, where do most of your animals come from? People whose pet, cat or dog, has a litter and they don't know what to do with it? Or are they, like Bill's dog, left wandering the streets in the rain?
We cannot take those animals like that anyway. Mostly it's relinquishments.
Is that right?
We can't take a dog that's just wandering the street.
Oh, is that right?
Can you tell me how
what
that
happened?
policy reads, what the object is of that?
No.
It's just the law. It's
Well,
the law.
Oh, somebody.
People my
in Infant
age
Wood-
understand that. If it's a law, that's what you do, yeah.
Somebody down there in Springfield didn't have anything to do one day, and they said, "Well, let's write a law to pick on the stray dogs."
Yeah, there you go.
So,
Now they can go to a foster.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, we can. Yes, they can.
So
go to a
one of the
foster.
people who's active with the
We have
HSLC then will probably take it in.
well, maybe we've
Yeah,
broken the law at our house, you suppose.
I don't think so. I think you're safe.
Diane Shealy, God rest her soul. Well, she's not gone yet, happily. But anyway, I always call her my former friend. The dog showed up at her house, and she, being the kind soul and neat lady that she is, the next day she took the dog to be groomed because it was just so terribly disheveled and in bad shape. And we just lost our dog, and the groomer said that'd be the perfect dog for Jean Gossett. And Diane called me, and I haven't spoken to her since. Well, specifically now, let's talk about the formation of our Humane Society. Let's go back to the beginning here, and that's going to take us through the trip of the various steps that have taken place. We have a wonderful physical facility out there now. So, but let's go back to the formation of our society. Where did that start? And a group of interested people get around, sit around over a cup of coffee, or maybe 5 or 6 beers. Or,
Neither one of us was really involved at that point. So that story.
But you are now.
But we are.
So let's talk about all the little flags out there that are going to be the pet cemetery. How did you decide that you were going to incorporate that into your business? And how many cemetery plots
That
will you
is
be
Dennis.
having?
That would
That's
be
where
my-
Dennis comes in.
All right.
Well,
Hit it,
it all
Dennis.
started at Ales for Tales last year, which
Uh-huh.
our event's coming Friday. And I spoke with Marilyn Wheat
Mm-hmm.
over some cocktails at Ales for Tales. I said, why don't we look at the possibility of a pet cemetery? And she was thinking of the same thing at the same time.
Great minds running the same
Exactly,
track.
that's exactly the way it started. And I thought, because I saw her husband, who maintains the lawn, was constantly out there mowing, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, there's 3 acres that could be used for something other than just ground,
Right.
grass. So anyway, we got our heads together, and of course, Marilyn is really good on putting committees together and whatever. Our committee was formed at Ales for Tales that night.
Is that right?
People that just volunteered, and that's what...
We didn't waste much time, did
No, we didn't. No, we didn't. And, but that's the thing about the Humane Society and the Pet Cemetery. It's all volunteer,
Right.
Right. It's all volunteers, and, I don't know what we'd do without volunteers. Would you
my.
say?
oh, you couldn't operate.
Oh, my
no.
gosh.
Well, you're preaching to the choir here. That's the
so
department I work with at the
supportive.
hospital.
Yeah.
Right,
And
it's the
they're
same.
wonderful, wonderful people. You don't meet volunteers who are selfish or mean-spirited because
No.
those kind of people don't volunteer.
That's exactly right.
We've been
No.
so
We
fortunate.
have been fortunate. And so anyway, we put our committee together, and we had a lot of hoops to jump through at the beginning that we didn't realize, because the stakes that you see at the cemetery
Yes.
right now are not crosses. Some people think that we've
No.
got them marked. We had to put it together as a subdivision, and it had to be drawn up. And Darren and Lisa Forgy were the ones that helped us get that done, established, and then it had to go before the city council and
Like a city plot,
city
kind of?
plot. Exactly. Has to have roadways, has to have walkways.
Lots of committees.
Lots of committees.
we had to go through.
Well,
It's not
who'd have
just-
thought?
Not just go out there and dig a bunch of holes and drop
Exactly.
Fido
Well,
in
you'd
there.
think it would be that simple,
Yeah,
but it's
really.
not. But it really isn't, and we did not know that. If we hadn't contacted, and they were wonderful to us, I'll tell you that, Prairie Engineers. They're
Good.
really good people, just good people. And we can't say enough about them because they've helped us so much. They came out, put all the pins in, and they're helping us right now put the book together. So when we sell those grave spaces, then we can mark it in the book, who they were sold to, who's
Okay.
buried there, whatever. Because that's important too, is the record keeping.
Now, you mentioned Danny Wheat is your lawn boy.
He is many things.
Well,
but
many.
Currently.
Now, when you do begin the sale of lots and they are bought and used, I assume people will want some little marker so they know where Fido is.
Correct.
Will they all be flush so that
That's what we're
Danny
hoping.
doesn't
well,
have
not
to...
all of them. There are certain areas right now along the berm that we're going to allow the uprights, but we are trying to keep it as maintenance-free as we can.
Right.
It's easier
I
to
would
mow
think.
as a memorial garden and,
Right.
and take care of. But there will be some available along that berm.
You know, I'm sure for eons, people, when their pet goes to pet heaven, have used their own yard.
Yes.
Is that even legal?
I don't think it's illegal by any means, but I would be very uncomfortable with that. I mean, my little guy is still on my desk at home in his treat can because I had him cremated, and you know, I'm just waiting for things to happen here, and that's
Yes.
what I'm going to do with him. So,
Right.
you know, but I couldn't put him in the ground. So,
Yeah.
We still have ours in behind my chair.
well, Bill, you can't believe the amount of people over the years that have brought in their pets to be put in their casket with them because the family didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
You know, so
Well,
they
that's
just put them in the
interesting.
foot into the casket and buried them with them. You know,
If
Or you
you're
take
not a pet person, that logic eludes you.
I know.
But if you are a pet person, it really makes sense. You know, you get when if you had a hassock for 17 years, you'd be attached to it.
That's
you know,
exactly right.
and it can't respond to you
Yeah.
where your dog or cat does.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Unconditional love.
Well, when do you think you'll have your book? Yeah.
Unconditional
Yeah.
love, it is.
And besides that, he thinks I'm brilliant. When I talk to him, he looks right at me. Now, when do you think you'll have your book done so that you can begin your sale?
We are hoping by the middle to the end of the month. is
Oh,
what we're
really?
hoping.
You're
Yes.
almost
Oh,
there.
We're real close, yes.
You plan a dedication of that little site, do you?
I'm sorry, Bill.
You plan a dedication of that little cemetery site
Well,
for the...
we haven't talked about that.
I
But
just
that's a
wonder
good
if that-
idea. We need to do that, yes.
Uh-huh.
Well, we've written a private grant, and we haven't heard anything from that yet, but our plans are to have a nice gazebo built out there. And Humane Society fronted us $25,000 to help us get started. Well, you know, there's a lot of things going on, but we built a new shed, and part of that shed is our office space, is what we're going to have there.
Office for the little cemetery?
From which you'll sell.
We'll sell urns and the markers. All that's going to be sold from that office.
Okay.
And but anyway, with the gazebo, we were hoping to have like field trips for kids because, like you said a while ago, you got to teach them young how to appreciate their animals and love their animals, and then you don't have those poor animals on TV with the sad eyes, you know, that people have been cruel to. So
We're
there's so
funny
many
people.
things, and we can have funeral services under the gazebo, you know, for these pets. Somebody mentioned the other day about having pet weddings. You know, well, anything's possible today. So,
Or just gatherings.
or just gatherings.
Because we cannot serve food in the shelter, so
Well,
we
Bill,
can have
you-
gatherings there too.
And Bill, you probably remember years ago, didn't they used to have picnics in the cemeteries? Someone
Yeah.
told me years ago
Yeah.
that was a big deal, like a Memorial Day and whatever. You'd take blanket out there and have picnics at the cemetery. Well,
Talk with Aunt Boo and hello, Uncle Chesley.
yeah.
Yeah. We're funny people. Americans are. Here we, you know.
Well, you
we
don't
do-
have to be from here to be funny
we do-
people. Everybody.
We do all this business with our pets and so forth, and you don't have to go terribly far away, down Central America or South America or across the pond somewhere, and you find people who don't have enough to eat and don't have enough, you know, to take care of their kids. And what we do with pets is just kind of incredible. We're just a strange lot.
We are, but they become your children. I mean, they're just so attached to you. Well, a perfect example this week, I think it was just yesterday, I read on MSN online, where this guy committed suicide because he had to put his pet down. He was an actor. He was a soap actor, right?
What kind of an actor?
He was on soap operas. And he had to put
there
his
you
pit
have
bull
it.
down, and he was just overcome with grief so badly he committed suicide because of it. Now, that's pretty bad. You know, but he had to really be attached to that pet for that to happen. You know?
Well, gosh, you know, Murphy and I are real good friends.
However,
I just couldn't believe it when I read it. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's thousands of animals out there he could have adopted, but, you know.
now here's a thought
The love
for
was there.
for owners of pets and the pets who are inseparable. At the time of death for the owner, why don't you just commingle the ashes and work it that way, and then spread the ashes wherever you want to do it. What's wrong with that?
We'll have a little scatter garden there.
We're going to have a scatter garden, a rose scatter garden is what we're going to have at the pet cemetery as well.
Oh, are you?
Mhm.
Well, may I be so crass as to ask if you've decided on the price for your little plots?
We have. It's a 3x5 plot, okay? And you can have 4 burials on that plot. And the cost is $250 to purchase that plot, and $100 for every time we open that space for a pet to be buried.
You know, you said that you were going to have from your new shed, you said, I'm deaf as a post, and I don't hear things right. You said that you were going to have the sale of lots, and I thought you said ferns.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought, well, how are you going to keep them fresh? But that's not what you said. You said urns.
Urns, yes, urns, pet urns.
Okay.
And we're going to have pet jewelry.
Here,
I don't
Judy,
know.
try this for a while.
And pet jewelry is a big thing now, too, where you can keep some of the cremains in pet.
Oh yeah.
And seems to be a
Okay.
big thing.
As
Well,
I say, we're a strange lot.
I know.
Yeah.
now, do you have the facilities for cremation, or
No, we will not do that. We're not going to do that.
they can
no.
just come
Do
to
the
you?
same folks that would do pet cremations, are they the same folks that take care of human remains? Or do they have to have a
Some
separate?
places they are, Bill. Some places
I just
they are.
wondered,
There's a
why-
place down in
why not?
Springfield I know that there is.
But any veterinarian.
But any veterinarian can do
I mean,
it,
I know
yeah.
that because we've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
Well, don't they
you
ship
know,
them off?
It's-
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they ship
off.
them off. But it just seems to me to make sense. If you've already got the facility to take care of we folks, why not just put the pets in there in the same facility?
Well, and the thing is, all this money is going to be funneled right into Humane Society in order to take care of the animals. They told me the other day it was $60,000. Is that right, Sue?
It continues to go.
Continues to go
rise,
up
You know.
for the care of those animals. You know, between the shelter, they only have one paid personnel.
30
Everybody
hours
else
a
is
week.
volunteer.
Probably underpaid at that, really.
But
you know.
I mean, you know, for what is it, medicines and food and spay and neuter and medicines, all those things combined.
None of that is cheap.
No.
Now, let's find out where you got to. We got to get that money someplace.
Right.
Where are you getting it? Other than now, you'll have a little source here for income in your pet cemetery. But where are
Well,
you?
let's go back a little bit when you said it from the beginning. In the beginning, and I wasn't really involved, and neither were you in the beginning, but lots and lots of bake sales.
Oh my.
Yes.
And just an inordinate amount of activities. And I think this group just realized we cannot continue that forever to fund the shelter. You know, so that's why the pet
That's
cemetery.
why we decided to do it. Yeah, really.
But our other sources of income, we have membership dues. We have a lot of donations you just would not believe.
Dog washes.
Yeah, we do dog washes. We have Ales for Tails coming up Friday evening at the Elks. We just had, let's see,
Membership drive.
We just had a membership drive.
Mm-hmm.
thanks to this wonderful group.
Yeah,
They
this
did a
wonderful
wonderful.
group, yeah,
We
they
had a
did,
great.
yeah.
We had a great time. We had over, I'd say, 125 people come.
Wonderful.
We had a membership a lot of new memberships because we had a deal that day, $5. So we had a lot of new memberships. We have a whoop stock coming up, which is a day that you bring your animals to the park. So that's in September.
And what are you calling?
Woof stock.
I thought that's what you said.
That was a big deal last year.
Yeah,
wasn't
you
it?
bring your animal,
Bring
and
your
it's
animals.
just all kinds of activities.
And so what do they do when they get there, the animals?
Well, we have contests and different things that the animals can do. And then we have, I think we had food. Actually, I didn't attend that, but it is a fundraiser. I'm not sure. The plans are underway right now.
Yeah.
Well, the bottom line is it takes a lot of money to run that operation, and which brings us right into WLCN here high on the hill at Lazy Row. It takes some money to operate this, and that means we have to have sponsors. So we're going to take a couple of seconds to recognize some sponsors.